Hello and welcome to Boss His Money. This is a channel on which we take charge of the gifts that God has given us. I believe that every one of us has a gift, and as a body of Christ, we need to be holistic in the way we do things, not just our spiritual lives, but our physical lives, our mental lives, our financial lives. Everything should be in order. Today I have a very, very special guest, and she's going to introduce herself to you. Hello, my friend, my sister. Welcome.
Thank you so much, namesake. Hello, everybody. My name is Charity. I'm a Zambian national. I've been here in Pittsburgh for many years. I'm popularly known as Vanampande. This is because by tradition, where I come from back home, the minute you have a child, you kind of lose your name and you're just called by the name of your first child. So I am Vanampande, and I'm very happy to be here.
So you can actually call her Vanampande. Maybe that kind of sound like a tongue twister, but it's easy when you just practice. Her name is Charity, but also she can be called as Vanampande. And she has talked about where she comes from, the kind of where things are, the tradition, the way things are. Right now, she started an organization which is very powerful, and it's called Insaka. And that's what we are going to talk about today. What is Insaka?
Yes, thank you so much, namesake. I started this organization called Insaka. It really is about mothers and raising our children. It's called Mothers United in Action, and our covering name is Insaka. Insaka represents a tradition back home where elders and those who are esteemed in society sit together under the covering of a structure. And the structure itself is called Insaka. I started these organizations for mothers because I have a deep desire to facilitate, to encourage, to maintain our cultures and traditions, not only for those of us who are in diaspora here, but also for the children back home. I strongly believe that the way in which we were raised is absolutely priceless, especially in this society where there's such a great hemorrhage of cultural values and behaviors are becoming so rampant, where children seem to not have a base for how they should interact in society, how they should respond to counsel, how they should behave at a certain age, responsibilities, respect, and all those things that make us a people.
That's so vital, I should think, because somebody might be listening and saying, Insaka, what has it got to do with maybe someone being in charge of a gift that God has given them? But from what you have mentioned, I realize that Insaka is about people coming together. The Bible tells us that in the book of Proverbs 11 and 14, it says, without counsel do a people fall. And in a multitude of counselors, there is deliverance.
Absolutely.
So I believe that Insaka is about coming together.
Absolutely.
And being of help to one another. How can you explain to someone who's just lay and just hears about Insaka?
Yes, let me give you a little bit of a background to what inspired me to start this organization. My son, my late son, unfortunately he passed away 2 years ago. There was a day when I was talking to him. I just got moved by the Holy Spirit to just talk to my son about the things of life that I felt he needed to hear at that time in his life. And the words that I spoke to him is not something that I particularly planned, but looking back, I realized that it was a summary of everything, all the wisdom I myself had received over the years. And living in a foreign country, you realize that our children don't have that kind of a wisdom. They don't have that base. They don't have that resource of wisdom and love from an uncle, an auntie, you know, a neighbor, to impart some knowledge or to explain some things to them that will help them to move forward in their life as a young man, as a young woman. And that's how come I became motivated to start this organization. So when I was done speaking with my son, which it took me like 30 minutes, I just said so many things to him. His response to me made me realize that I really, really needed to do this. He said to me, "Mom, you should never stop talking. Even though I'm standing here and you're apologizing to me for talking to me for so long, I'm really listening. And this is not the first time you've spoken to me. Over the years, the things you've said to me come back to me." So then I said to myself, wow, there is so much power in counsel. And not just counsel from your own parent or your own sibling, but from the community. And that's how the word Insaka came to me. I realized that even here where we are, we can come together as a community and recreate Insaka, and give our community a model and a community of people, elderly people, you know, different levels of wisdom, to come together and interact with each other and pass on that knowledge and wisdom to the younger generation. And also to, you know, for each other. If I'm challenged in a specific direction with my child, I should be able to know that there's a woman down the street, though it's not down the street here, but I know there's a woman in that little Insaka, in that model that I created, who I can reach out to and talk to, and they'll understand where I'm coming from, and we can have an exchange of wisdom and knowledge, and hopefully impart that to a child.
Apparently, I was born and raised in Zambia as well. The way we lived, it's like our neighbors were our aunties, our uncles, and we used to visit our mom's sisters, our dad's sisters. But it's like now, not even in Zambia, people live by themselves like an island. You know, there's no interaction between families. I think this is a very important thing that you're doing. You know, it's very, very important for our children to know that my Auntie Charity is watching. You know, before we used to be scared when you're walking on the street and you see a friend to your mom, you are running because you know they are going to tell it to my mom, or they'll rebuke me, they'll even beat me. Those days they used to beat us. So it's like the society we are living in has deviated from there. How can you help someone who is raising a child by themselves? What can you tell them?
For anybody who is raising a child by themselves and you are feeling overwhelmed, or you're doubting yourself, you're wondering whether you're doing the right thing, you don't know how far to go to discipline your child, when to say no, you know, those are really critical things for raising a child. Personally, I didn't have to be alone. You know, when my children were little, before I moved here, I was in a family, like back home. So anytime I had a question, there was somebody there to tell me. So if you are out there and you're that person who's struggling, please reach out to us, to Insaka. I will flash my phone number on the screen for you. You can reach out to me, and I can direct you to a person who you'll be most comfortable with to talk about your challenge. It's very informal. It's like you and me just sitting down to have a conversation. It's not counseling, it's not medication oriented. It's just an exchange of knowledge and love and trust. The most important thing is that you must understand that we have the interest of you and your child at heart. So when you come to Insaka, you have to know that you have no reason to fear or to feel like you're going to be judged. That's what we are here for. So please reach out to us, and we shall embrace you with open arms and see what we can do to help you in your current situation.
That's very comforting to hear, because a lot of people, don't know where to go really. When they have problems, they don't know who they can call. The issue of trust especially, that's a big one. So if we can come, and if they can know that they can come and they will not be judged, and their information can be confidential, that is really, really powerful.
Absolutely. In fact, the basis of Insaka, we function on the basis of trust and love. And of course, and absolutely, we put God first.
Right.
You know, God is the creator of life. And when God created us, He created us with enough tools, you know, to facilitate us helping each other.
Right.
God created us to love each other. God created us to love ourselves. And God created us to have these children and to be able to raise them in the way that they should be. So when you come to Insaka, please, you have to absolutely know that your information is safe. We have confidentiality. And above all, we are all in the same boat. We are all looking to, we have the same goal. We want to raise children who are healthy, who are cultured, and we want parents who are confident in the way that they're raising their children. So absolutely reach out to us, and we hope and pray that we can get to know you, and together we can have a happy, healthy community.
That's what we need, especially in this day. So what kind of people can join the Insaka?
Originally, when I started Insaka, I started with mothers my age, because only because I wanted us to have the same, I wanted to create a base.
Okay.
What is going to be our format? How are we going to reach out? What is our goal? What is our mission?
Right.
And I reached out to mothers in my age group because I thought that would be a good place to start, because we have experience. You know, experience is something that you can't disregard in any circumstance.
Right.
And after we got sat down together, we wrote our mission statement and our goals and our objectives. Then I started inviting any mother.
Right.
You know, I told the other mothers, you mothers who are in this group, I don't know everybody.
Right.
Why don't you go ahead and reach out, and whoever wants to join the group, just give me their number and I add them onto the group. So we went ahead and did that. And by October of last year, we had our first meet and greet. And we had a wonderful time. I think you were there, namesake.
Yes, I was there. I really loved it.
Yeah, so we had a nice time. You know, we had children from age 8 months to young adults to, you know, some of our children who are married and their spouses. And we were able to split each other in groups and just talk to each other and about common challenges that we face.
Okay.
Yeah, so the criteria is for any mother. It's for mothers. It's Mothers United in Action.
It's kind of like women always have something that they do. When you look around, there's a women's meeting, there's Insaka now, there's this and that. How do the men come into play in this? Yes,
well, much as Insaka is an organization that is run by women, we have different tiers of council.
Okay.
We have elders who are both men and women.
Okay.
Because we realize that our children are both male and female.
Right.
So we can't really absolutely relate to a male child like they would relate to a female child.
Right.
So we do have male membership, but they are more like consultants. Let's put it that way. Back home we call them, what do we call them? Anyway, they are peers. They are elders. I'm sorry, they are elders. So we have this tier of council called elders, who are the older men and women. And then we have another tier of counselors who we call the peers.
Okay.
Now, these are the young adults who we feel have been able to navigate this thing called life.
Right.
And have reached and are stable and of good character, good moral character, good values, who can then reach out to other peers their age who may be struggling.
Right.
So in this category of elders and peers, we do have both men and women.
I think I really like that because, you know, sometimes children, even in a home setting, sometimes they'll listen to the mother, sometimes they'll listen to the father, sometimes they'll relate more to the father than they do to the mother.
Absolutely.
So since you have elders as well, that's important. Do you have a mission statement or anything about this Insaka?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, when I finally came to to realize that this is something I needed to do, I realized that I needed to have some kind of a structure. And I came up with a mission statement, and I'll just give you a little brief of my mission statement for the organization, what we believe in, what we are trying to achieve, and a little bit about the goals. So our mission is that we stand together as mothers mandated by God, and our main goal is to make sure that our children get to know and understand our culture, and that we should operate and work with each other in integrity and trust. As a group of mothers coming together, we have declared and agreed that trust is a priority for us to be able to help each other in this organization that we have birthed. We also have established a system which includes elders and peers.
Okay.
These are people who we have selected specifically for reasons being that they are people in society who are reputable individuals. People who we feel have the wisdom and the experience of the years. People who have actually shown by the way they are living their life and by the way they are raising their own children, or if they are younger, if it's the peers, just by the way they have carried themselves through life, they have proved that they are able to impact and impart some knowledge onto other children. So we have tried to recreate the concept of Insaka. Back home, as I said earlier, elders gather together under a structure called Insaka. And when they gather under Insaka, it's usually because there is something going on in the community that needs to be discussed and resolved.
Okay.
And that's really the kind of, we're trying to mimic that concept by having peers and elders to help us to counsel and to reach out to the community.
So this organization is about counsel and guidance, mentorship. There is no one who has ever achieved anything without being mentored. You cannot say, I'll do it by myself. There are people who have gone ahead of you and they have learned all these things, and this is what they are bringing to the table. So what advice can you give to someone listening out there who feels like they are alone, who feels like no one cares? Are you going to reach out to such people? Because we have seen a lot of suicides taking place, a lot of people being so alone in a world with billions of people. What measures do you take to make sure that you can include those people?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. As a group of mothers who have come together with the sole purpose of helping each other and reaching out into the community to help those who may not have yet come on board, I would like to encourage you, if you are listening right now and are experiencing some challenges with your child, with maybe just listening to you, obedience, following your rules, or maybe you're a first-time mom and you don't know if you're doing the right thing. Please reach out and give me a call, and I would love to sit down and have a conversation with you and just to see how we can make your burden lighter. I have a whole group of resources in mothers and fathers and grandmothers who can sit with you and listen to you and see how they can make your burden lighter. In this world that we're living today, there's a lot of isolation. And there's also with that, there's a lot of regulations and rules and do's and don'ts. We are not regulated. This is voluntary. You have to trust. That's the first step in you giving me a call, is because you are saying, here I am, I want to talk to you.
Right.
So you have to trust enough to open up and start this conversation. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. I am a mother of 5. And other than my own 5 children, I have raised many children. From the time I was in my 20s, I was raising children. So there's no situation that I can fail to shed light on. And I will be more than honest to let you know if it's something that is outside of what I can do. I will direct you to the resources that may be able to help you further. So please do not hesitate to get in touch. I would love to know you, I would love to meet you, and I would love to make your life better.
Thank you so much for that assurance, Mother Charity over Nampande. There you go. You don't have to be alone. And there you see a woman that has found her place and known what God has called her to do as a mother. Just as a mother, you can be anything and make an impact wherever you are. Remember, God has given you a gift. Boss it. Be in charge of it. Thank you so much for watching, and God bless you.
Amen.